Sergei Rachmaninoff's towering Piano Concerto No. 2 opens with pulse-pounding passion, soothes you in the sentimental middle movement, and sets you on the edge of your seat with its fiendishly difficult finale, featuring the return of the sensational pianist Joyce Yang, a laureate of the Cliburn International Piano Competition. Guest conductor Lidiya Yankovskaya leads the Phoenix Symphony in Jessie Montgomery's Hymn for Everyone, a meditation for orchestra full of washes of colors and timbre, and in Antonín Dvořák's cheery and lyrical Symphony No. 8, inspired by the Bohemian folk music of his native land. "Music is my connection to the world," wrote Jessie Montgomery. "It guides me to understand my place in relation to others, and challenges me to make clear the things I do not understand. I imagine that music is a meeting place at which all people can converse about their unique differences and common stories." She grew up on Manhattan's Lower East Side and graduated from New York University and the Juilliard School. Montgomery then went on to teach at Community Music Works, or CMW, in Providence, Rhode Island. "In working with CMW," she said, "I realized the potential that music has to speak to social issues." In 2021, she began a 3-year appointment as composer-in-residence of the Chicago Symphony, with Hymn for Everyone being one of the fruits of that involvement. Hymn for Everyone is based on a hymn that I wrote during the spring of 2022 that was a reflection on personal and collective challenges happening at the time, she said. "Up until that point, I had resisted composing response pieces to the pandemic and social political upheaval and had been experiencing an intense writer's block. But one day, after a long hike, this hymn just came to me, a rare occurrence. The melody traverses through different orchestral choirs and is accompanied by the rest of the ensemble. It is a kind of meditation for orchestra, exploring various washes of color and timbre through each repetition of the melody." Sergei Rachmaninoff was not an immediate standout at the Moscow Conservatory, but by the time he graduated in 1892, he was deemed worthy of the Great Gold Medal, which had been bestowed on only 2 students previously. He developed into a triple threat, respected as a gifted composer, a capable conductor, and one of his era's supreme pianists. Long adored by audiences and dismissed by critics for the same reason, his music upheld the ideals of expressive romanticism long after it had fallen out of official fashion. He nearly gave up composing following the failure of his first symphony in 1897, but a physician investigating psychological treatment through hypnosis helped steer him back on track. Rachmaninoff's therapy focused on achievable projects: an a cappella chorus, a love duet for an opera, and then, in 1900, 2 movements of a piano concerto that had been on the back burner for several years. These were received enthusiastically at their premiere that December. Rachmaninoff appeared as both pianist and composer, a journal reported. Within a few months, he supplied the concerto's missing first movement, and the unfinished concerto became the finished, ever-popular Piano Concerto No. 2. He performed it often and recorded it twice. In 1924 and again in 1929, both times with Leopold Stokowski, conducting the Philadelphia Orchestra. While Dvořák served as principal viola of the Provisional Theatre Orchestra, he began honing his skills as a composer. By 1871, he left the orchestra to devote himself to composing and made a living giving piano lessons and playing the organ. In 1874, he got his first break as a composer. He was awarded the Austrian State Stipendium, a grant newly created by the Ministry of Education to assist young, poor, gifted musicians, which exactly defined Dvořák's status at the time. That he received the award twice again, in 1876 and 1877, underscores how his financial situation was improving slowly, if at all, in the mid-1870s. Fortunately for Dvořák, the influential music critic Edward Hanslick enjoyed his music and, in 1877, encouraged him to send some scores to the great Johannes Brahms. Brahms was so delighted with what he received that he recommended Dvořák to his own publisher, Simrock, who immediately published 2 collections of Dvořák's pieces and contracted a first option on all of the composer's new works. His 8th symphony was composed in 1889 in Prague and premiered in 1890, with Dvořák conducting the National Theatre Orchestra. In his 1984 biography, Dvořák, Hans Hubert Schönziller wrote that Dvořák's Symphony No. 8 is the most intimate and original within the whole canon of Dvořák's 9. He continued that Dvořák himself has said that he wanted to write a work different from the other symphonies, with individual force, worked out in a new way, and in this he certainly succeeded, even though perhaps in the finale his Bohemian temperament got the better of him. The whole work breathes the spirit of Vysoká.